Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. From Watkins Glen, Xander and Adam Barker will have the front row. Andrew Lau, Max Gunther on the second. Harry Volsmere, Avery Walker have the third row. Wessel Stevens, Simon Zierk on the fourth. Mike Dolling and David Garman round out the top 10. Joshua Mancuso starting in 11th next to Rudolph Gunther in 12th. Nicole, that's what she said, Kriesel starting in 13th, and Ryan McDaniel in 14th. All the drivers making last minute fuel adjustments and getting on track. A lot of familiar faces, a couple of new drivers, and a couple drivers we haven't seen in quite some time will definitely make this one an exciting one. But a very familiar track for all the drivers out here. One of the more popular road courses out there. As the Porsche pace car leads them down. Quick look down from the blimp as they come through the final turns. The track is dry for now, but it will not be all morning. Xander in control, pace car is in. They are down and away. Green flag is in the air at Watkins Glen. Will turn one. Oh, 3 wide. They come out of turn one successfully. Ryan McDaniel, Rudolph Gunther have had a problem back behind. Adam Barker quickly to the lead, but again, the Porsche does not have the straight line speed, and there's the McLaren. Shoots to the lead into the bus stop. Andrew Lau quickly taking the lead from Barker. Xander has dropped all the way back to 6th place. Already, he'll have to make quite a comeback. Harry Volsmere shooting under for second. Oh, a little squirrely out of the turn, but he holds on to it, but loses that run. Andrew Lau continuing to lead. Max Gunther side by side with Xander coming out of the boot. And into the final turn, looks like Andrew Lau will lead lap 1 here at Watkins Glen, as Wessel Stevens has a run for third. Third on back, really tight. Oh, Wessel's around. Several cars into the wall. Max Gunther involved. Harry Volsmere involved. Let's take a quick look at the early incidents. There's Ryan McDaniel and Nicole, that's what she said, Kriesel. Oh, Ryan missed his braking point and sends Rudolph takeoff just barely misses Gourmet. He gets one wall, misses the other one. Then a moment later, this battle from third on back, and there goes Wessel around. Problems here early for Team Gunther. There's a spin by Wessel. There's Max into the wall. Harry in the grass. Well, that was an interesting start to the morning. Team Gunther, problems here early. They have got to fight back. Harry Volsmere did tow to pit road. Rudolph Gunther has gone in for repairs. Wessel Stevens now also on pit road. Andrew Lau has the lead, but Barker in second set the fastest lap. Xander now back up into third. Avery Walker on his bumper. Simon Zierk in fourth. Joshua Mancuso in fifth. Mike Dolling up to sixth now. David Garman currently in seventh. Max Gunther, despite losing that front bumper, currently running in ninth, trying to close in. Nicole Kriesel avoided the early chaos into 10th place. Ryan McDaniel involved in that early incident, back in 11th. Team Gunther definitely having a rough start to the morning. See if we can get another look at this incident with Max. There you see Wessel goes across the nose, and when Harry comes back down, gets into Max and just sends him around. Turn one has been Calamity Corner so far. Andrew Lau and Adam Barker out front have pulled a decent gap, now 2.7 seconds on Xander Avery. Simon not far behind in fifth, and Mancuso second and a half behind in sixth. Mike Dolling back in seventh. Garmy in his first ever NSS race currently sits in eighth, but Max Gunther closing in. A good charge back so far from Max despite heavy damage. Adam Barker has set the fastest lap 2 times in a row, but is unable to capitalize, at least for the moment. The McLaren definitely has the advantage of straight line speed, but that Porsche is the faster car through the twisty bits. Hey, good morning, Nishi. Quite a breakaway for the top two. It is now over 3 seconds ahead of the battle for third and fourth. Hey, good morning, Orchid. Simon Zierk is pulled back up on third and fourth. Now the three cars right there together. Mancuso and Dolling back behind. Dolling is closing on Mancuso. Max Gunther continuing to close on 8th place. David Garman, despite the significant damage to the front of his Porsche. This is definitely going to make for an interesting race, but race 2, the top 7 will invert, so the winner of race 1 will start 7th in race 2, but the dominance we have seen so far out of these two, it's definitely gonna be interesting seeing them come through traffic. Avery Walker has slipped by into third. Doing good, Nishi. How are you? And how are you, Orchid? Joshua Mancuso back in 6th, the biggest mover so far after starting in 11th. He might be in trouble though. Mike Dolling continuing to close in. Despite the Porsche's lack of straight line speed, he is managing to stay with the leader in the McLaren, but just cannot get a move. Avery Walker back in third has started to close the gap on the top two. If they start battling anytime soon, Walker may get in the fight. Nicole Kriesel in 10th. Now has Ryan McDaniel on her bumper. Ryan had that rough start in turn 1. And Cookie Monster has had his face banged up a little bit. Whoa! Cookie Monster lost a little grip there. Coming through the bus stop, Adam still on Lau's bumper. And Avery continuing to close the gap. He is now just 2.9 seconds back. Mike Dolling has caught the bumper of 6th place Mancuso. That McLaren just has so much speed. David Garman in his rookie outing back in 9th. Max Gunther has gotten back past him. And Ryan McDaniel has just taken 10th place from Nicole. Wessel Stevens also closing in on both of them. Wessel trying to charge back He was fighting his way toward the front, got caught up in that incident, had to go to pit road for repairs, now back up in 11th. One thing we have noticed and heard from the drivers about that Porsche, going through the turns, it can take those curbs harder than any other car. It seems to really, really like those turns. Simon Zierk all alone back in 5th. 3rd and 4th at the moment, pulling away from him. And 3rd place, Avery Walker, is closing on the top 2. He is now just 2.3 seconds back. Lau able to open up a gap on the straightaway, but as soon as they get into the turns, that Porsche just closes back up. Up through the S's, the Porsche will claw back just a little bit. Lau trying to get far enough ahead to break that slipstream and leave the Porsche in the dust, but he can't get away far enough. Meanwhile, the 3rd place McLaren continuing to close in. He is now just 2 seconds behind that lead battle. Simon Zierk also starting to close in just a little bit on Zander, now just 2.3 seconds back. Mike Dolling has been running Mancuso down just about 0.7 of a second back. Hey, good morning, Pudsey, and thank you guys for coming with the raid. Thank you guys so much for dropping by. Thank you for the raid, Pudsey. Andrew Lau may have finally broken the slipstream. He has opened up a 1 second lead on Barker. Avery Walker, meanwhile, 1.5 seconds back with just a couple laps left to go. Things definitely about to heat up. Zander, for the moment, is hanging on and gaining with Avery. Adam now 0.9 of a second behind the leader. Likely Andrew Lau will get the white flag next time by. But the question is, can Avery Walker get to him? Mancuso, for the moment, still holding off. 7th place, Mike Dolling. Max Gunther has moved up to 8th, getting past Garmin. Garmin now in 9th. Wessel Stevens has fought back to 10th place, but he is 19 seconds behind Garmin and not going to pick up any more spots. Barker is closing back up on the leader. Avery still about 1.5 seconds back. All the moves they're making and all the speed they have right now, you see those clouds above. When we go into race 2, those clouds will be opening up. Things are definitely going to change dramatically this morning. The Porsches will definitely be the car to have in the rain, as we have seen all season long. But now the question is, how will the McLarens handle the rain? White flag is out one more time around for Andrew Lau. Can he hold him off? Avery still stuck 1.5 seconds behind the lead battle. And Adam Barker closing right back up on the bumper of Andrew Lau. This one is gonna be close. Down into the boot one last time. Barker right there with Lau. This is where the Porsche will have an advantage through this sector. Barker right on the bumper. Remember, if they go to battling with much track left, Avery Walker will close quickly. Toward the final 2 turns, Barker has been unable to make a move. And it does not look like he's going to have enough time out of the final turn. Andrew Lau will win race 1 at Watkins Glen. Adam Barker coming home in 2nd, Avery Walker in 3rd. And it does appear the A's have it here this morning, as the top 3 all start with an A. Just a little bit odd there. Hey, good morning, Manny. Let's get a quick word with our top 3, starting with 3rd place, Avery Walker. Avery, it's Doug. You got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, first off, great to see you back out on track and a great run this morning.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back.
It was definitely interesting. You were closing the gap very quickly in the last part of that race, just not enough time to get there.
Yeah, not enough time. If there was 5 more laps, maybe I could have done it. I was kind of hoping they would battle each other a little more, but it's okay. Still happy.
Well, going into race 2, obviously you have to start further back, but knowing that you can gain that much ground, does it change your strategy at all?
I think it's just going to be surviving. It's supposed to be raining for the entirety of the next race, so we'll see.
Well, man, great job again. Great to see you back. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Adam Barker and Hello Kitty coming home in second. Adam, first off, great to see Hello Kitty back on the car this week.
Yeah, it's been a good luck charm, I think. Really good race. That McLaren's just so quick in a straight line. I could get around the twisty bits, but as soon as it came to an overtaking position, he had no answer for the power of that McLaren. It's going to be an interesting one now. It's going to start raining, so we're going to have to think on our feet, try and get a setup in, and then figure out when wet tires are needed.
The Porsche has an obvious advantage, as we have seen in the rain. Are you counting on that to get to victory lane today?
We'll see. Yeah, the Porsche does generally like the wetter conditions, so it's going to be interesting for sure. We'll have to see what happens when the rain comes down. It might not be strong enough that we don't even need tires, but it's definitely going to be an interesting start.
It definitely will. Good luck and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Puzzy, I have never heard Watkins Glen described that way, but now that I look at it, you're absolutely right. And let's talk to our winner, Andrew Lau. Andrew, it's been a minute, but you're back in victory lane, buddy.
Yeah, nice race. Good lap one.
It definitely was. Everything kind of played into your favor on this one, so it turned out to be a really awesome race, but how does the McLaren do in the rain?
I have no idea, because I didn't do any practice.
So this could be a very, very interesting learning experience when the rain hits.
Yeah, I don't even know when we're getting the rain. I think 20 minutes into the race, so it'll be interesting, at least from a dry to wet race perspective. But yeah, probably try to make up as many places in the dry as we can before the rain starts, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, man, it was a great run, a great win. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Andrew Lau wins race 1, but now the wet tires are coming out. I don't know if anybody will start on rain tires. We might see a lot of them on dry tires to begin with and switch once the rain gets heavy enough. Also, you'll want to keep a close eye on the track as the camera shows you around it, because you'll be able to see very quickly and very easily the amazing modeling iRacing has done of the rain. You'll see where the puddles form, and you'll definitely see different lines being used around the track. And good morning to all of Team LSW. Thank you guys for being here. And it does look like a couple drivers are heading out on wet tires to get a little practice. Not seeing any rain, riding along with Max. Doesn't have the wipers on, no rain coming down yet, at least at this end of the track. Down into the bus stop, still no rain, but once he gets down into the boot, where the arms is now, I can't unsee that. It was mentioned in the comments that Watkins Glen looks like a person bowing, and you just can't unsee it once you've realized that. Max is pulling it in. Wessel heading out. Not seeing any rain yet. Track temperature has dropped. Air temperature has dropped. Humidity now 93 degrees. Or 93% rather. It's about to get rainy here at the Glen. All right, here we go. Race 2. Mike Dolling and Joshua Mancuso have the front row. Simon Zierk and Xander on the second row. Avery Walker and Adam Barker on the third row. Andrew Lau will start in 7th after winning race 1. Max Gunther starting in 8th. David Garman and Wessel Stevens round out the top 10. Ryan McDaniel starts in 11th next to Rudolph Gunther in 12th. Nicole, that's what she said, Kriesel and Harry Volsmere round out the field. Everybody stacking up down in the boot. And everybody so far is starting. Max Gunther did not make the grid. It looks like Max is starting from pit road. Max has won every race in the rain in NSS history. Starting from pit road will keep him out of trouble in turn 1. Will today be another Max Gunther win in the rain? Pace car is in. Dolling in control. He fires there away. Green flag is in the air. Race 2 at the Glen. And already 3 wide into 1. They back out of it. But they obviously did not learn their lesson from turn 1 and race 1. Fortunately, everybody survives. This time, Mike Dolling out front, and he is going to be tough to pass in the dry. Mike, known as the Minister of Defense, one of the hardest drivers to get around. Mancuso on his bumper along with Sander. Andrew Lau, who won race 1, back in 8th at the moment. Max Gunther is at the tail end of the field. Looks like he'll be scored in 13th when he crosses the line, but that may change dramatically in the rain. Adam Barker side by side with Wessel Stevens. Wessel pulls ahead. You heard Adam say the McLaren's power is very tough to beat. That power could be a problem when it gets rainy. Adam shoots the inside and what? Can't complete it. While they battle back behind, the top 4 have gone single file at the moment. They have pulled out to a 1.7 second lead over Wessel. Simon Zierk lost a lot of ground in the opening lap. He has dropped from 3rd back to 7th. Wessel went way wide and Adam Barker to 5th. Xander in the lone Audi out front is actually pulling a gap on Mike Dolling. There's a wreck behind. Looks like Mancuso involved. There's Mancuso coming up the hill. On the power, the back end just stepping out. We've talked about it all season. That Ford just does not have much rear grip. Mike Dolling making the move to reclaim the lead. Quite a battle going on between the top two. Mike Dolling and Xander have swapped the lead a couple of times. Avery now in 3rd. Barker in 4th has lost touch with the top 3. Wessel Stevens right on Barker's bumper. Simon right there with him. Lau now back up into 7th. Keeping a very close eye on the windshields. Some drivers were expecting the rain to start immediately at the start of this race. Some were expecting it 10 to 15 minutes in. Now remember, they do have to make a pit stop for fuel. It'll be interesting to see how that pit stop plays out with the rain, and Rudolph Gunther has had a problem. Rudolph coming past Ryan McDaniel, gets by clean, goes wide into the grass. Wow, loses the back end, does manage to keep it out of the fence. The battle for the lead continuing. Xander trying to find a way back past the Minister of Defense here this morning. Xander has a run into the bus stop side by side, and Xander's going to come out ahead. Avery tried to take advantage but couldn't make the move. Adam Barker is caught back up to the top 3. Wessel Stevens, Simon Zierk, and Andrew Lau right behind. Last time by, Simon Zierk set the fastest lap of the race. Rudolph has had Ryan McDaniel and Rudolph have had a problem. There's Ryan coming through the bus stop. Oh! Got a little too much of the curb and then gets the fence. There's Rudolph coming into the bus stop. The back end just steps out. He gets her woed up. And then a moment later, Rudolph has another problem. as he was coming into the boot, loses the back end. He has taken it to pit road. Gonna hand it to Rudolph. He is out here this morning on a brand new rig, new setup with limited testing. Xander has reclaimed the lead. Mike Dolling now side by side with Avery Walker. Dolling holds on to second. Adam Barker right behind. Wessel Stevens about 2 seconds back. Simon Zierk, Andrew Lau, all there together. Riding along with Adam Barker, looking to see, not seeing any sprinkles just yet. But the weather report we got was once the rain started, it would be a big rain. Oh, and I think I just started to see, hop on board with Adam again. Yes, we are starting to see drops of rain. Not enough to make a significant difference yet, but now the rain is picking up. This will definitely be an interesting one. Ryan McDaniel just completed a stop. He has not changed. Rudolph Gunther is on pit road getting repairs. He has switched to rain tires. This is definitely going to be where the Porsches come in and march. Xander in the Audi is checked out to a 1.7 second lead. However, we have heard this season that the Audi is a handful in the rain. Wessel Stevens starting to close back in on the top four. Max Gunther, who has dominated every rain race so far, is back in eighth. Once the rain picks up, though, keep an eye on that car. It's likely we'll see him march to the front. Xander just set the fastest lap of the race. Harry is on pit road. This is likely Harry changing to rain tires. The car is up. Harry switching to wet tires. Now some of the drivers may be trying to stretch until they're within their fuel window. And it is starting to get on the track. You can see the spray. The spray not getting very bad as yet. But as the rain picks up, I suspect we'll see quite a bit more spray and also start to see drivers changing the line to stay out of the puddles. Xander continuing to stay out. The sun is creeping back out a little. Could see quite a bit of strategy come into play here. Harry Volsmere now on wet tires, back in 11th. Nicole Kriesel currently running in 10th. Xander continuing to put down the fastest laps possible before the track gets too wet. He has extended his lead to 3 seconds. The battling back behind definitely going in his favor. Doesn't appear the track is wet enough for any driver to start slowing down, changing lines, or anything yet. And we will start working on finding a radar overlay. So maybe sometime in the next few months, you guys will be able to look and see what the weather is doing. Xander continuing to stay out. Looks like everybody is. That little bit of rain has dropped the track temperature quite a bit. It's now down to 65. The air temperature has also cooled down to 65. Mike Dolling still holds on to second. Barker now into third. Avery still right there in fourth. Simon, Andrew Lau, Wessel, Stevens, Max Gunther all together. Adam Barker has had a problem. Max Gunther on the attack in the rain. Oh, looks like Adam might have gotten a bump coming through the carousel. Lost a bunch of positions. Looking down from the blimp, let's see if there was any contact. It does look like just a little love tap. Adam Barker is coming to pit road. He has now dropped back to 9th place. David Garman, the rookie in the field this week, back in 8th. Joshua Mancuso, after that problem early, back in 10th. As we have seen the last couple of seasons, these Fords do not have much rear grip. But when they get into the rain, they become extremely difficult to handle. Adam Barker appears he is within his window. He is taking on wet tires, fuel, hoping to go the distance from here. Xander has now a big lead, 4.6 seconds over Mike Dolling and Avery Walker. Andrew Lau back in 4th. Lau won race 1, started race 2 in second. He is starting to make up some ground, but how will that McLaren do in the rain? Max Gunther, despite still being on dry tires, has picked up several spots. He is now up into 5th. We know the Porsche handles really well in the rain, but usually with rain tires on. However, it seems to be doing very well in the rain with dry tires. Simon Zierk has had a problem. Oh, Simon coming through the tires. The back end just steps out. There he was, just going down into the boot. The back end loses grip. He gets it recovered, but lost several positions. Nicole Kriesel has had a problem. Looks like the exact same spot. Just lost the rear grip on that Corvette, and Mancuso has had a problem. There's Mancuso in the Mustang, just gone onto the rumble strips, and the back end goes around. He towed it in. Andrew Lau is coming to pit road. Simon Zierk is also coming in. They will switch to rain tires here. And despite the sun peeking out in some places, it does look like the track is starting to accumulate water. Riding along with Max Gunther, you see the spray blow a little bobble out of the Porsche. You see the spray off the McLarens ahead, and yep, Max is starting to adjust his corner entry, making sure he stays out of the preferred line. That way he's not running through any puddles. Riding along with Avery as the car Nicole Kriesel went off just ahead. And you can see the spray is definitely getting worse. Xander continuing to stay out. Already 6 cars on wet tires. Andrew Lau, currently the highest running car on wet tires, in 7th. Rudolf Gunther has had a problem. Oh, coming out of the bus stop. Looks like he just lost the back end, tried to catch it. Simon Zierk also had a problem. He just came off pit road. Wet tires on. The back end still steps out. He does manage to recover quickly. Oh, the leader is around! Xander has gone around! Mike Dolling has reclaimed the lead. Xander slips back into fourth. Taking another look at this as he comes down into the boot. The back end, same place we have seen a bunch of drivers lose the back end. He gets it recovered, but not before several cars go by. And more cars headed in. Avery Walker, Max Gunther, both in. Mike Dolling, Xander, and Wessel Stevens still staying out. And bravely, David Gorman also stays out. Definitely a gutsy call for Garmin. As we've mentioned, that Ford has no rear grip on dry tracks. He has his hands full here. Mike Dolling has a 2.7 second lead over Wessel at the moment. Xander now in third, Garmy in fourth. Avery Walker, the first car on wet tires, in fifth, but Max the Rainmaster in sixth. He is also on wet tires. The top four still need to come in. Everybody is past the halfway point here. I'd be surprised if this top four stays out this time. Okay. Mike Dolling stays out. Wessel stays out. Xander stays out. That is quite a surprise, especially with Xander, who's already had a problem in the rain. And Garmy continues to stay out. Mike Dolling leads him through the bus stop, but his lead is shrinking quickly. Wessel has cranked it up. He is only 1.5 seconds back. Xander had another problem. Here's Xander coming through the bus stop. He got too much of the rumble strips in the first part. Man, talk about a close call. He manages to save it, but loses even more ground. The top four still on dry tires, still have not come in. Mike Dolling continuing to stay out, as does Wessel. I would expect Xander, after the problems he's had in the rain, to come in. He is not coming in. David Garman back in fourth. Will he be in? Yes, Garmy finally comes to pit road. Wessel Stevens has taken the lead over the Minister of Defense. Xander back in third after leading this for quite a while, has now slipped back to third and is 11 seconds behind the top two. Avery Walker has his hands full. Max Gunther is right on his bumper. Remember, the Porsche has been the dominant car in the rain, and Max has been the dominant driver in the rain in this group. Wessel Stevens, Mike Dolling, and Xander still have not been in. Wessel continues to stay out, as does Mike. David Garman went to pit road. He did not switch to wet tires. Garman still on dries. Xander finally coming in for his tire change. It looks like potentially, I have to wonder if some of these drivers have seen those peaks of the sun and are trying to hope for this track to dry back out. Xander is almost done with his pit stop. He did switch to wet. Wessel Stevens has extended his lead over Mike Dolling very quickly. His lead now 3.3 seconds. Avery Walker in third, still holding off Max Gunther. Andrew Lau now back in fifth. Xander currently in sixth, Simon Zierk in seventh. Adam Barker, a rough race, back in eighth. Garman in ninth, and the only driver that has stayed on dry tires. Harry Volsmere back in 10th. Nicole, that's what she said, Kriesel in 11th. Ryan McDaniel in 12th. Rudolph Gunther has had a rough morning. He is back in 13th. And Mancuso out of the race early. Wessel Stevens is on pit road. Wessel is up, getting tires changed. Wessel Stevens is staying on dry tires. The sun keeps peeking out. There are two drivers still on dry tires. And of course the leader, who is not pitted yet. Definitely not the hard rain we were expecting. It is still raining. Actually, it appears the rain has let up. The guy staying on dry tires might have made the right call after all. Definitely going to be interesting to see the strategy and which one plays out as the leader is on pit road. Mike Doling is in. Max Gunther has gone past Wessel. He is now in second place. Wessel Stevens currently in third. He is still on dry tires. David Gorman in ninth on dry tires. And Ryan McDaniel in 11th on dry tires. Max Gunther has gone by to take the lead, and Mike Doling is staying on dry tires. With the rain having let up, if the track dries back up, the guys staying on dry tires will have a huge advantage. But if the rain picks back up, it's going to be rough. Mike Doling and Wessel Stevens currently second and third, both still on dries. Not far behind the leader, Max Gunther. But Max, with the track being wet, is pulling away quickly. Max's lead 3¼ seconds at the moment. As you can see, the rain has stopped. Just under 15 minutes left to go. Nicole and Ryan have had problems back behind. There's Nicole in the Corvette headed toward the bus stop. Oh, just no grip on entry. A hard hit into the wall. Ryan McDaniel, he stayed on dry tires, lost the back end coming out of turn one, and smacked the inside wall. Max Gunther's lead is disappearing quickly. Wessel Stevens and Mike Doling are closing in. Max's lead was 3.5 seconds. It is now down to 1¼ seconds. Four drivers chose to stay on dry tires after their pit stops, and it does look like those drivers, as we've got a battle for the lead. Wessel Stevens on dry tires going around Max. Max still on wet. And Adam Barker has had a problem. And we have have seen a bunch of drivers have a problem right there coming down into the boot. Just loses rear grip. Wessel Stevens now in the lead. Mike Dolling in second. Hey, good morning, Dazzy. Mike Dolling in second. The top two on dry tires. Also, David Garman back in 8th. He is also on dry tires, and he is closing quickly on 7th place, Simon Zierk. With 11 minutes to go, I doubt we see anybody else change tires here. The top two currently on dry tires, 3rd through 7th on wets. 8th place on dry tires, Harry Volsmir, who went to pit road a moment ago, has changed back to dry tires. With Harry coming in to make the swap from wets back to dries, you have to wonder, will anybody else try it? You are very welcome, Dazzy. Hope you're having a great day, buddy. Max Gunther holding on to 3rd, but Avery Walker is closing quickly. Avery just 2.7 seconds back. Last time by, David Garman on wet tires gained over 2 seconds on Simon Zierk on wet tires. When I talked to the drivers before the race, they were expecting much more and heavier rain here this morning. That little light rain we got definitely was not what they expected and definitely ruined some drivers' strategies. Wessel out front has pulled away from Mike Dolling. His lead now 2.8 seconds. David Garman has caught up to Simon. As the sun is starting to peak out with 8 minutes left, how many spots can Garman get? Definitely, when we were questioning the strategy calls earlier on, it looks like a few drivers made the right call staying on dry tires, and it's really starting to pay off. Garman still on dry tires, right on the bumper of Zierk. Garmin tried to set up for the pass there, couldn't quite get it. Can he do it in the boot? He swings wide. Just doesn't have it quite yet, but he's got to get past Simon quickly. Remember, the next 3 cars ahead of Simon also on wet tires. Avery Walker, meanwhile, closing the gap on Max Gunther, now down to 1.7 seconds. Meanwhile, the 2 fastest cars on track are the top 2, Wessel Stevens and Mike Dolling. Both drivers stayed on dry tires. And it looks like that is going to end up being a genius strategy here this morning. Max Gunther sits in 3rd. Honestly expected, once the rain stopped, for him to charge to the lead. Or once the rain started, we were expecting him to charge to the lead, but once it let up, he has just not had the same pace. Avery Walker back and forth, just 1.6 seconds behind him. Andrew Lau currently running in 5th. Xander in 6th, Simon Zierk in 7th. But I don't think Simon will be in 7th much longer. Rudolph Gunther has had a problem. There's Rudolph coming down into the boot, gets loose. And a hard hit into the fence, losing his entire front clip. Wessel Stevens now into lap traffic, pulling away from Dolling. His lead now 3 seconds. Max Gunther in 3rd, maybe in trouble. Avery Walker is closing in. David Gorman has finally gotten past Simon Zierk. He was gaining ground on all the cars ahead, but it does look like he has lost a little bit of momentum. And it does look like a little bit of rain starting to come down again. But with 3.5 minutes left to go, likely not going to be enough to have a big impact. And Barney the flagman standing up there. Somebody get my dude an umbrella. Hey, good morning, Tina. Harry Volsmere currently back in 10th. Remember, he stopped and switched back to dry tires. He was 45 seconds behind Barker after his stop. That gap has been cut in half. If he had done it a lap or 2 earlier, he might have been able to run Barker back down. Wessel's lead now 3 seconds over Mike Doling. Max Gunther in third has been able to hold Avery behind him so far. Andrew Lau in fifth as Xander closing back up in sixth. Garmin running him down several seconds a lap faster on dry tires, but likely not going to have enough time. And it does look like the white flag is out one more time around for Wessel. Wessel Stevens planned the strategy perfectly here this morning. Wessel heads off into the boot one last time. The rain picking up will not have an impact. Wessel has a 2.9 second lead on Mike Doling as he heads out of the boot into the final couple of turns here at Watkins Glen. He raced through the rain, he raced through the dry, he played the tire strategy perfectly, got everything to fall in his favor and was fast all morning long. Wessel Stevens will win race 2 at Watkins Glen. Mike Doling coming home in second. The battle is still on for third. Avery down to the inside as they go into the final 2 turns. Dead even out of the final turn. Who's it going to be? It is Avery out of the final turn. He comes home in third. And let's talk to our top 3, starting with Avery Walker. Avery, you managed to pull off third on the last lap. That was quite a battle and quite a charge.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, Max gave me the space, so kudos. Both of us were on wet tires that we should not have been on. So yeah, happy to be up there.
Well, man, a great job, and it's always awesome to see you back out here. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike Doling coming home in second. Mike, you come home in second, but man, the strategy, I thought you were wrong. You definitely nailed that perfectly.
Yeah, I'm happy with how that turned out. I wasn't convinced that the staying on dry tires was going to work, but it did, and I'm happy. It's good. It was good. It was a good race. There was a few moments where I was like, it was like pretty scary, but generally, the tires held up really good. It was good.
Well,
that was a good race.
That was definitely an impressive run, and it did look like you had made the wrong choice when you came off pit road. And I question how long you even stayed out, because it didn't seem like it was going to work at all. Man, that was a genius move. Great strategy, buddy.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, Doug.
And finally, our winner, Wessel Stevens. Wessel, I was telling Mike a moment ago, I thought you guys were crazy staying out so long and then not changing tires, but that was a genius move, and you had the speed to back it up.
Yeah, it was definitely a big risk to go for the dry tires instead of the wet tires. I overshoot a little bit, so I even lost some places at the pit stop. But yeah, we recovered well, and was, to be honest, one of the best races so far. So pretty happy.
Well, it was definitely good, and I haven't had the chance to ask anybody, how does that McLaren handle in the rain?
Yeah, if it's like full wet, then it's really hard to drive. But if it's like a little bit drizzling, like it was today, then it's actually quite good. Quite good. Good on the exits.
Well, man, congratulations. Great speed, great strategy, great win.
Thank you very much.
Well, Wessel plays the genius move and gets the win. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget 2 races tonight, starting at 7:30 Eastern. We will see you then. Have a great day, everybody.